quite viciously.
As fair can be. We did all those steps the other day.
Yeah, that hurt. I'm still feeling that. So,
Note to self: don't go up there with a pair of rowers.
Yeah,
they're way too enthusiastic.
Log into our social media channels. Leave comments of what you're liking, what you don't like, anything you want to hear about. If you have any questions, and who you're rooting for and where you're watching from, and let's have a little interaction with our Group 2 Formula Junior and Formula V race here. So I'm going to go down the list of who we have. Starting in first place, always puts on a great show here with us. We saw him earlier in a Lola, and now we're going to see him, Robert Hemke from Texas, in a 1962 Cooper T59 Formula Junior. Tom O'Grady in a 1962 Cooper T59 Formula Junior. And John Breedenbach in a Lotus 18 Formula Junior from 1960. Now we go to the Formula Vs. If you're wondering what a Formula V is, it was the easiest, lowest cost of entry car in SCCA. It was basically the front end and the rear end, including the engine, transmission, and transaxles from a Volkswagen Beetle. It has that, what do they call that, torsion rod suspension, about as simple as you can get in any kind.
Yeah,
and
basic.
They had basically just chassis specifications. Some of them you could make in your garage. So starting in first place in Formula Vs, Hunter Barron in a 1969 Kellison Mach 1. Elliott O'Barron in a 1963 Kellison Formula V, and Elliott Barron.
Now, hang on a minute. You've got an O'Barron and an Elliott Barron.
Yes. And I'm not sure which one is the dad, but one of the Elliots is the dad. So
and are they related to Cassandra Barron Fuller?
I don't know. That'd be crazy. But he's in a 1969 Lynx. Devin Boucher is in a 1969 Nash Scrambler. Bill Griffith in an RCA. Greg Byrne, Dwight Calkins, John Strand, William Wolfe, Timothy Little, Nick Palgrave, Jason White, Cassandra Barron Fuller. Yeah, that's the daughter. I'm sorry about that.
Yep.
She's in the 1969 Volkswagen Zink. John Williamson in the Caldwell, and Scott Elife in the 1969 Formula V. Look at all those cars racing here. And it looks like we only have one Formula Junior, and the rest are Formula Vs.
Yeah. And we got a couple of Coopers and a Lynx. Like you say, a Nash Scrambler. Great name, isn't it?
Now, most of these Formula Vs, they race together in a group called SVRA, Corinthian Vintage Auto Racers, out of Texas and Oklahoma and I think New Mexico and Louisiana. They race at Howlett and all over Texas. Great vintage racing club, regional club, and all these guys and girls race together really hard. It should be really fun to watch.
They look so less intimidating, some of the bigger cars. They look fun to race, as though you wouldn't get into one of those. I mean, there's plenty of power there, but those look as though they're inviting to race, you know?
Yeah, they're easy to race, but they're very difficult to race fast.
That's, I think, the best part. It's the ultimate challenge, isn't it? It's a bit like golf. You're never going to master it.
Yeah.
Lights go off on the pace car.
So the pace car lights have gone off, and that's Scott, our PA announcer, just letting us and the crowd know that. And that means now that our front row will take over. And that's Hunter Barron in the 113.
Yeah, another great race that we had Father's Day weekend at Indy 2 years ago, where Hunter and Elliott Barron at Indy, they must have traded positions 6 or 7 times in that race. Father-son.
Now, we're expecting just over 12 minutes to be the timing of this race, so they don't get a lot of time to get it done. You need to make, if you're going to make a move, you need to do it early.
I kind of feel bad for that one Formula Junior up there. I wonder if he's going to, sit back and Formula V's catch up to him. That's got to be pretty lonely up there, taking the green all by yourself.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean now.
We have a split start.
What you were talking about. Okay, yeah, I'm with you
So
now.
we have a split start. The Formula V's like to split start just because.
I quite like that.
So I'm thinking that's Robert Hemke in that number 4. He is a really good
So he's
race
off
car.
on his own, but then comes the chasing and a marauding pack. There we go. So, our Group 2 race, the helmet race for the gold helmet, about to get underway.
See the Barons, their arms are up. They're going to give themselves their own green flag. And it is...
Oh, somebody's jumped.
I think so, but they were taking that green flag. Oh, no, he's coming back. Now they're going to go.
So,
All
yeah,
right.
they, to be fair, that was all within the rules. They are perfectly able to do that. And away we go, up the hill for the first time. Ooh, a nice clean start. A few cars going wide, but not too wide. And everybody nicely through. And a beautiful shot looking downhill at turn 2. I love turn 2 as it swoops down towards the bridge where the photographers get their best pictures. And then the mighty Hamish picks them up through the S's and lets them sneak through those S's. As we were hearing from Michel Abate earlier, this is a real challenge, these S's, to get right. And there's the leading car already going through on his own. It is a bit lonely out there, isn't it? Well, are we expecting the pack to catch him?
No, he might catch the Formula Vs, but he'll be quite a bit quicker than.
So it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Leading the way in the 113 in the 2F category.
Yeah, if we do a split start, we try to start the slower pack behind, but really we didn't need to do a split
and
start.
This is Hunter Barron that's leading in the
I think
Mach
it's
1, right?
I think it's Elliott.
Oh, Elliott Barron, okay.
I think he took Hunter Barron in turn 1, but look at this pack. This is a drafting class, so watch these front 4. Right now, the person in the best seat is the back of that front 4. Coming out.
Yeah, such is the straight here at COTA. There's plenty of room to draft.
There goes Hunter. That's Hunter with the white.
Okay.
So Hunter takes the lead into.
That car built in 1969 and still going strong. Not bad for 50 years, is
and
it?
if I'm guessing by the body language, that's Elliott, his dad, right behind him there. Elliott's one of my favorite people in the paddock, just a huge enthusiast for vintage
Does
racing.
he feed you too?
He does feed me
There
too,
you go.
yeah. Well, his wife does. But the Barons are always a party, wherever they go. They like to party at the racetrack. This is going to be a good battle for first through fourth. I'm already seeing it right now.
So coming under the stadium section through the 16, 17 and 18 complex, you'll be able to see the original Turkey track where this corner was designed after. They go the other way though at Turkey. Next Sunday, of course, in Formula One on ESPN. So tune in for that. Here in the States anyway. And onto the front straight come the lead group.
So if you're watching on Race Monitor, for some reason they've got it wrong. I don't know if they split timers or whatever, but I don't think that's Tom O'Grady in the Formula Junior. I do think that's Robert Hemke. That's the car I've always known him in, so I don't know if they traded transponders.
I think you're more likely to know, yeah.
So that number 96 right there, beautiful car of John Strand in 1969, Lynx B.
Yeah, funky little nose to it, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's Bill Griffith in the 49. So we've got Robert Hemke in first in the only Formula Junior, followed by Hunter Barron, Elliott O'Barron, Devin Boucher, Elliott Barron, John Strand, Greg Byrne, Bill Griffith, Dwight Calkins, and Jason White is in our top 10. That's Hunter right there.
Yeah, and like I said, you're taking your life in your hands sliding these cars. Well, you can't really, can you?
No, they slide. You'd be surprised how much they slide and kind of drift angles in these cars. They're real skinny tires.
Yeah.
They don't weigh anything. There's no downforce. There's so much skill to be able, like I said, it's an easy car to drive because it probably drives a little bit like a Volkswagen Beetle, but one of the most difficult cars to drive fast.
Yeah. So down to 11 again and a chance to overtake. Oh, a lock up there. Yeah. That's not going to do your Hoosiers any good. But he gathers it all together.
Good packs.
Yeah, good pack racing, and we'll get some more drafting, I'm sure, down the back straight in this one. A little bit of smoke puffing out of that lead car in that last group. It's a interesting how they design the shapes with no wings and stuff. There's no sort of worry about aerodynamics. So there's bubbles and sharp edges and strange noses, bubble noses.
Yeah, because everybody kind of, all these builders, after they set the chassis specifications, they could try whatever they wanted.
Yeah. William Wolf in the 68A coming through.
Oh, a little squirrely there.
Yeah.
Number 37, Timothy Little.
A bit late on the brakes perhaps, and loses one place to the 22A. Good to see the crowd still here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon watching all the action. I think everybody's been starved of live sports, and so it's great to get out.
Well, coming up next is our group that seems to be the crowd favorite, which is our Group 6-12 race. That's the American muscle cars,
yes.
the Mustang, Camaros, Corvettes, and Challengers.
Yeah, you'd have to stay for that.
All right, Hunter Barron. He may be in trouble here. Watch for these two guys just right behind him to be drafting. They should be moving pretty quick.
Well, they're drafting each other and helping each other to get forward, aren't they?
Yeah, if they work as a team. I think that other one came out a little bit too quick.
Lovely sound. You can hear those wheels squealing underneath.
Yeah.
There's 3 wide here. And the 96 goes through shot. That's John Strand. So we're getting pocket little battles now, and some cars on their own. One car in the Formula Junior out on its own. And maybe by the end of the race he'll have caught up. Or caught up the traffic, put it that way, and trying to lap some people. It's interesting, you know, like we keep talking about it being based on the Beckett's complex at Silverstone, but I don't think it's as challenging as it's a lot bigger at Silverstone, that complex, than we have here at COTA. And so I think it's even more of a challenge. And Michel Abate, who came in here earlier, was admitting that because it tightens up in the middle sector, it's sort of pushing you to make a mistake almost through that section.
Yeah, you can't really find yourself to get into a good rhythm because they're not all the same apexes and radiuses. So it's a little bit different there. Look at this. Look at this 2-car draft coming down right there. That's crazy. Let's get a close-up and see if that's Robert or... Nope, that is Tom O'Grady.
So we
Robert
were right
left.
all along.
So, yeah, that was Tom O'Grady in that car in that Formula Junior. And I'm surprised that the Formula Vs are catching him.
Well, there's a reason for that. He spun at turn 9 but got going again.
Got it. Yeah, he had contact with a Bumblebee. Spun at 9.
It's a big Bumblebee in Texas.
This is just fun to watch. I love this kind of racing.
I'd
the
love to do this
momentum
kind of
racing. They're doing it. I know if you watch Formula One at COTA, this looks really slow, but I promise you, if you were in this car, it probably feels faster than a Formula One car does.
I'll bet. And more exhilarating in some ways.
It is fun to watch.
Good advert for the live venue there. Fantastic concerts in the summer there as they head round 19. And there is Tom O'Grady.
Last lap.
And it is the last lap.
Hunter Barron's closing in on
I
him.
know, this is going to get interesting because he's had that spin and now he's a bit of a target.
Yep.
So we could have a grandstand finish to this one. This is the final lap here of our Group 2 final race of the weekend for them.
That's Elliott Barron there.
The number 1?
Coming
no,
down.
the 111, yeah.
114, I think.
114, yeah.
You can see his nose peeking through that visor right there.
Still screeching under those brakes, under the tires though.
Yeah.
So you push it on.
I was watching a Formula V race once, putting transmissions in the back.
Yeah.
So they'd come up and they could bump you out of gear. So that's why they have those little cages back there, so that to keep you from being able to bump the other guy out of gear.
Ah, you wouldn't do that purposely though, would you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
No, this is so competitive. I filmed a Formula V race with a club called VDCA, Roebling Road, many years ago, and they were just bump drafting each other in open wheel cars.
I know, I've been watching and commentating on Formula Ford in New Zealand, which is where the likes of Scott Dixon, and Liam Lawson, and Brendan Hartley cut their teeth. And yeah, you talk about aggressive racing, excellent stuff.
So that's Tom O'Grady in that Formula Junior.
And he's in trouble.
1962 Cooper T59. He had a spin at 9, and now Elliott Barron is closing in.
You know, you squint your eyes and put it in black and white, and you could be back in the 60s, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Formula V was a huge class in SCCA 60s and 70s because it was the lowest cost of entry, and if you crashed, you just go to the junkyard and get parts.
Yeah.
Tom O'Grady on his checkered
Put some
flag.
bodywork on and away you go.
Because the Volkswagen Beetle was the most prominent car.
Yeah,
So,
and cheap
they were
engines to
everywhere,
maintain
yeah.
and would go on forever, right?
So basically, you blew an engine, you go to the junkyard and get a new engine.
Yeah.
They're air-cooled. You could bolt them in real quick.
So a good finish here. We've got some close finishes here because this is far from over yet. There's at least 4 corners to go for the number 10 to defend.
So that's Elliott O'Barron up there in the front of this gaggle of 2 cars right here. Can you call that a gaggle? Look at the camber.
Yeah, why not?
The camber in these tires is quite severe.
Now, has Tom O'Grady held on? He had a spin, and it was spin and win. What will it be?
Yep, Formula V class.
Coming through 15 now. Everybody piling in. What a great sight. And here's the checkered flag, and it is going to be Tom O'Grady in the Cooper T59 SJR, who takes victory in 2nd place. And crossing the line is Hunter Barron.
So that's a gold helmet for Hunter Barron because he won his class Formula V, and I think the rules are there have to be 5 cars in your class to win the gold helmet, the national championship. He had 15. Nice job, Hunter Barron. His dad, Elliott, will be a little bit upset that he didn't win it, but he'll be happy that his son Hunter won in the Formula V Gold Bell Helmet National Championship of Vintage Racing here at Circuit of the Americas 2020.
And look how close the rest of the field finished off each other. Good close racing in the midfield. So that was an interesting race for Tom O'Grady. I'd like to hear what he had to say about his spin. I bet that frightened him. It's a beautiful looking car, that Cooper, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a pretty car.
Cooper Racing, one of the classic race cars of yesteryear. So that concludes the Group 2 race for the helmet race, if you will, for the Bell helmet. We thank Bell for stepping up and providing that. And we saw a few drivers proudly wearing them earlier in the day. So how do they transport them? Because where are they running next? A bit of smoke coming out of the back of that one, but I think it's okay now the race is over. But
I don't know where they're running next. I'm guessing this is the end of the SVRA season. I'm not sure. They might have one more race at Houston.
Yep.
But I know they can fit about 8 to 10 of these Formula Vs in one trailer.
And of course, if you're wondering, they are all insured. We've got Haycock and Haggerty involved in the insurance side of things. So they do a good job of making sure these are all good and ready and effective. Tom O'Grady then wins in the Cooper T59. Hunter Barron is 2nd. Elliott O'Barron is 3rd. Devin Boucher is 4th. Elliott Barron in 5th. It's a real Barron fest. Bill Griffith in 6th. John Strand in 7th place. Jason White 8th. Dwight Calkins in 9th, and Greg Byrne in 10th position. So that's how they finished in Group 2. They are done for their weekend. We'll take a short break. We're far from done. We've got more muscle cars coming your way. This should be a doozy.